Hello, and welcome to Overcome a Mental Health Podcast. I am your host, Travis White. This is a place for you to share your mental health stories. I'm very excited for tonight's guest. I'm speaking with Deborah Moffatt. Deborah is an author, speaker, and the host of the Healing Version podcast. Deborah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I pronounce my name Deborah.
Deborah, I'm so sorry. I should have
It's
asked that
all good.
before.
It's all good. It's all good. Believe it or not, my family actually calls me Deborah because my mom's name is Deborah, but she spells it Debra. So they just call me Little Deborah. I'm like, it's actually Deborah, but
Deborah, okay.
yeah, it's all good. See, I was able to share that story. So,
Yeah,
how are you today?
I am doing great. So excited for the conversation we're about to have.
Yeah, me too.
Without wasting any time, I'm just going to let you tell the audience about your journey.
All right. So, growing up, I had a pretty unstable childhood, primarily with my mom. She moved us around a lot. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, and probably about first grade, she moved us to Tennessee. Then we came back here really briefly to St. Louis, and then we went back there. I stayed there all the way through ninth grade, but through those years, we went from this place to that place. She had a drug addiction, so she was not stable in our living arrangements at all. So I never thought about it as a child. I was just like, whatever. I'm going to a new school, new this, do that. It wasn't until I came back here in the ninth grade that I actually started having some type of stability. But there was a lot of things going on internally that I didn't know at the time, such as abandonment issues, looking for validation, people pleasing, just wanting to feel wanted and belong somewhere. So I actually started working like my sophomore year. By the end of my junior year, I was pregnant. I had my oldest son who is 20. I had him my senior year. Still graduated, walked across the stage with a 6 month old. So that if I had to think back on one of my earlier accomplishments or something I'm proud of, that I'm very proud of because a lot of people doubted me. They were like, "Oh, you're not gonna graduate. You had a baby. You might as well just drop out and get your GED or start working." I'm like, "I want a high school diploma." And no shade to people who have GEDs. Nothing wrong with having a GED. It's just not what I desired. Like I knew I worked hard all these years up until I got pregnant or up until I had him. I'll say I was an AB honor roll. And I'm like, I didn't work this hard just to drop out. And it wasn't like I was falling behind or anything. So I'm like, no, I'm going to go to school pregnant. I'm going to do my homeschooling. And then after I have him, I'm going back to high school and finish. So I'm very proud of that. And I started working, and I had my daughter probably, a year and a half later. And then not even 6 weeks of being pregnant of having her, I got pregnant with my almost will be next week. He'll be 18. So I had him. Had a very abusive relationship with their dad, broke free of that, didn't understand the scars and everything that left. And I eventually got into church and I started going to church. And I would say that church taught me some life skills. I will be honest and say, when it comes to like spirituality and having faith in I didn't get that at church. I was pretty much at church as like a cover up and a band-aid for everybody to be like, "Oh, she's in church, so she's getting her life together." The whole time I'm just like screaming, "What am I doing here on the inside?" But I eventually stopped going to church, but then I started going down this downward spiral because shortly after I became pregnant, lost a baby, and that took me through this grieving process where I was going through a lot of grief. And I tell people when you're grieving, be careful who you latch on to because I ended up latching on to a guy who meant me no good, but it was somebody there at the time. I didn't have anybody. It was somebody to talk to. He pretended like he cared. So carried on that relationship, and that was a very verbally abusive relationship. It was never any physical with him. It was just always verbal. He reminded me of how nobody ever want me because I have kids, and um you'll never be anything, and I would help you do this, but you don't listen to me. Very controlling, just horrible, horrible. So I was just like piling on like a lot of like everything was just piling on. I never like really sat down and thought about like what is going on with me? Like why do I like it was just one trauma, one thing after another. Eventually, I'm gonna say probably about 3 years ago, I met a guy and he showed me all the things I've never seen in a relationship that I've never got from a father. He was a protector. He was a great lover. He was just like everything that I've never seen in a man. And so, quite naturally, I got latched on to him. I was just like, oh, like this is it. This is, not knowing that it was an abandonment thing. It was something that the little girl in me was like wanting. So when he started like pulling his energy away, it triggered me. And all the relationships before, once they start moving their energy, I just be like, all right, bye. Kudos, see you later. But
Mhm.
for him, I couldn't shake him. I was just like, what's going on? So that sent me into my journey of healing because I had to figure out what was so special about this man that I could not let him go. So I started journaling. I started going to therapy, and I found out that there was some deep rooted abandonment issues. So, like I said, I started the therapy thing. I started searching within. Journaling helped me a lot, a whole lot, being able to write down my feelings and how and going back and seeing like what I grew from. I think that's like one of the most important things about journaling, being able to look back on those pages and to be like, what? That's how I was feeling at that time. And it also gives you like that that you need to keep going because it's like, okay, so if I'm not there anymore, I gotta be growing because a lot of times we don't see our growth. We don't, and we don't appreciate it. We don't take us stop and take a deep breath and like, I'm living my prayers. I'm living in everything that I've manifested, all the things that I said I wanted to do, like it's happening right before me. We're so focused on the future and like what's to come and what we'll be doing. And so I urge you, whoever you are listening, take a stop, look around, and appreciate like what you're in. Because I can say the house I live in, the car I live in, drive, the home I'm in, I manifested these things. These are things I said, okay, this is what I want. I want to eventually have this type of vehicle. I want to live in this house. I want this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms, like, and I'm living in it. So, hey, I urge you to just appreciate the now, because one thing about it, and two for sure, you'll never get this second back ever again. So my journey through healing and finding out why I could not shake this man and why I was so attached partially led me into my podcast. I'll have to give credit to this live stream that I used to have a show on. It was a relationship show, and I used to come with scenarios, and we used to talk about like different relationship things. And the people that would I was talking to, I realized eventually that instead of talking about being in relationships, we needed to be talking about healing and going to therapy. Cause I'm like, y'all, a lot of people who just shouldn't be in relationships because the things that y'all like, the way you think is just, I'm not going to say it's wrong, but it's just going to set you up for a continuous failed relationship because you don't trust anybody. You're automatically putting everybody in the same boat. And it's like, yeah, you got some healing to do. You can't do that. You gotta, everybody's not the same. We like to say they are, but they're not. So, on my podcast, the Healing Version podcast, it is a mental health podcast. It's basically my journal. If you listen, I tell all my business. So when people meet me and I'm like, oh, they want to ask me these questions, I'm like, I'll tell you a little bit, but you should go listen to my podcast. You will find out all you need to know. But I'm just I've used it as a moment of transparency. I feel that being transparent and being open and just being honest is going to help so many other people heal. So I urge people to come on and tell their stories. I don't push anybody. Like if you want to, you are welcome. And I have a interview segment on my show. It's called Versions of Healing. So it's like a spinoff. So I have the healing version, which is a podcast, and all of your stories are the versions of your healing. And I've had some pretty dope people come on and tell all of their things and things they've been through and all the services and things that they provide. So it's been a really, really dope journey. And I'm so excited about the future and what's to come.
That's so cool. And isn't it awesome though to like do this and be able to hear all the different stories? And you realize that like everybody has a story. And it's
Yes.
just so cool, like to hear everybody's journey and what they're going through.
Yes. Yes. A lot of like, wow. Like, dang, I ain't went through nothing. When I hear some of that stuff, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's, it's amazing, to see so many people overcoming or going through and getting through the things that they've been through.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's like because when I started doing this, I didn't realize like how many people would actually want to open up and tell their story. But there's quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of people. I'm like, iMatch has been a blessing. The
Hmm.
people that I've come in contact with just from PodMatch has been amazing. The survival stories, the stories of just y'all listen
Yeah,
to Versions of Healing.
yeah, yeah. And
Yes, and I have interviews stacked up for the rest of the year. That's just how, like, how many
I
people interview.
right there with you. I'm right there with you. It's a blessing and almost a curse at the same time because it's like
Yes.
I work full time. I don't know how to do this.
Yes, I work full time as well,
Yeah.
so and I'm a mom of 5, so I'm like, I have to find time to edit and, like, and they're always like, "Oh, when's my episode dropping?" I'm like, I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch. I promise to let you know
takes
when it
it
drops."
takes some time.
Yes.
So I have 3 kids, so I understand, and they're 3 young kids, very young kids. It's just the young kids like make it very difficult to do anything I
Yes,
want to
tell me
do.
about it. Yes.
But on that note, I do have a question, and that's actually good, kind of opening to it. How has becoming a mother influenced the way you view cycles of dysfunction and accountability?
So it's funny because my older kids are always, like, on me about this because now I'm a more wiser and more patient mom, so I have seven-year-old twins. So they are not getting the same mom that my oldest 3 children got. So they're always like, "Oh, they get away with everything," and it's like, "No, I know better now." So when you know better, you do better. So now, like, with the whole dysfunction thing, I'm completely transparent and honest with them when it comes to dysfunction. Like, you can have relationships with people from a distance. If you have somebody and their dysfunction is messing with your way of life or causing you to have to continue to put boundaries in place. You gotta keep telling people, and if it's a burden on you, you don't have to have a relationship with that person. I don't care who they are, like a parent, cousin, I don't care. You don't have to have a relationship. So, my biggest thing with them, when it comes to dysfunction is boundaries. Like, know when to stay and when to walk away. And, as far as accountability, I definitely allow them to hold me accountable, and I feel like that is my stamp of accountability. Because I know me when I'm growing up, you couldn't tell adults, like, if they were trying to think how to say this and not sound disrespectful. Like if they were out of line or if they lied about something, you couldn't call them out on it. And I allow my kids to call me out on things. So if I tell you that we're going to do something or I'm going to do something for you and I don't do it, you are allowed to say, "Hey, you said we would do X, Y, Z and we didn't." And now it's up to me to give you an explanation why we didn't do it, when we'll do it, because I don't think it's fair because they're a child that you can just do any and everything and you just gotta deal with it because 'cause you're a kid and I'm an adult and you're just gonna deal with it. I feel like that has a lot to do with, like, the anxiety of our generation and how we speak and how we deal with people and, how we are, and I'm just I'll say this time and time again, I'm so proud to see, like, so many of us, like, standing up and like, "Yeah, we're gonna end this right now. I'm healing from this. I don't want my kids to have to deal with the same things that we dealt with." So, and definitely the accountability thing it sticks out to me as huge because I also have to walk my life in a accountable way as well. Because I can't be like they hear my podcast, they listen to, my podcast, especially my 7-year-olds. They're like, I was watching some movie and it was like some violence, and it was like, "You can't watch this. You talk about healing on your podcast." And I'm like, "What? I can watch what I want to watch. Get out of my room." So it's like a lot of the things that I tell people to do, like I'm always talking about self-care and taking time for yourself and like pulling away from these 9 to 5s because if you were to leave this earth tomorrow, they will replace you the same day. If they decide they wanted to get rid of you, sometimes they'll bring your replacement in and have you train them
Mhm.
before they even get rid of you. So we got to stop being so faithful to these 9 to 5s. So I pull back and I do my self-care. If I need a mental health day, I'm taking my mental health day. So I tell my audience the same thing, like unplug, relax, don't do no homework, don't do no work, just, so I hold myself accountable in also doing the things that I'm telling other people to do. Cause, who would I be to say, do this and I'm not doing it?
Yeah, exactly. And there's one thing that really, really stuck out to me in that what you just said. I really liked what you said about basically if there's somebody that's bringing negativity into your world, like get rid of them. You don't need that. Like cut that tie. And it's like, and it does make it hard when it's family. It's, and I agree though. I also liked what you said about being accountable to your children because it's like if we're not teach, if we're going to hold them accountable, I think that they should be on the same place to have a voice with us as their parents,
Yes.
basically call you out on the stuff that you're doing as well.
Right, and I would say it can be done in a respectful manner. It's done in my house in a respectful manner. Like, I'll do something and my daughter, she's like, "Mama, I don't think that's right. You should." She told me one day, she was like, "I think you should apologize." I was like, "You think I should apologize?" She's like, "Yeah, I think you were in the wrong." And I'm like, I was wrong. And I called the person back and I apologized. And I'm like, so it's like they are my world. I'm around them like more than I'm around anybody else.
Hmm.
So if I can allow them to hold me accountable, that means I could just run around, and just do what I want to do. And I don't want to do that. I want them to also be able to know that they can talk to me about anything that builds a bridge, and that helps with our relationship too, that they know they can talk to me.
Yeah, and I think that's important because I think the voice of a child matters. And my daughter, she's 5 and she's really, really sassy right now. So we're still working on that part of, okay, you can say that in a respectful way. You don't have to yell at me when you call me out on something or when you don't agree with something. And
Yeah.
then I've learned that I have to watch my words because
Yeah.
we were camping this last weekend and she called me out on something and she turned around, she says, "Dad, do you want a butt kicking?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Well, you've said it." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that." So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
she's just using my words against me.
Mhm. Yeah, this generation is whoo, yeah, they good for flipping. They good for flipping your words on you. Which you said it, which you did it. And
Well,
it's like sometimes I be like, look, I can do that. Like you can't do everything I do, and you're not gonna do everything I do.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
now I'll use better words, but some of the stuff I'm gonna need you to pump your brakes on.
yep.
Yeah, it's the little ones. My 7-year-olds is something else.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're lots of fun. I can't, like, complain because I love my kids.
Yeah, they keep me on my toes, definitely,
Yeah, and I
definitely.
I I personally need that. I need somebody there to, like, and if you want somebody to be honest, like, flat out honest, leave it up to a five-year-old or a three-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll definitely be honest with you.
Alright. So, I have another question here for you. For someone who grew up in a toxic, household, where does a healing journey realistically begin?
When you start being honest with yourself in the situation, 'cause a lot of times we block out those situations and we just keep going on and on and on. You have to actually face them and be honest, and that can happen at whatever age. That happened for me, 3 or 4 years ago when I sat down and I was honest with myself, and that's when true healing begins.
Yeah, and that's a very strong word. I think one key word there is honest, because it's like I look back at myself and m for years, like, I didn't admit that I have problems, and I wasn't being honest with myself. I don't think my true healing journey started until this last year.
Mm.
So,
Well, at least you're being honest.
I'm being completely honest. It's like, I love everything that you're saying, by the way. It's
Thank
like,
you,
it's
and
very
I wanna add
relatable.
too, we do fall and we stumble. Like, once you start on this journey, it's not just like rainbows and peaches and you're just running down this
Mhm.
beautiful railroad and you're picking these flowers and you're healing and everything's just working out. It's ugly. It's a really ugly journey. It's a lot of crying and a lot of admitting things that you probably thought you'll never admit, and a lot of turning that mirror around and looking in the mirror and saying, "Man, I'm jacked up," and consciously making a change and being honest and cutting off people, places, and things that don't serve a purpose in your life. I think that's where a lot of people like hit that stumbling block because they want to hold on to people. Well, that's my so and so. I don't want to let them go. Well, I've been working here for 25 years and I've never gotten a raise, but I love the people I work for and I love what I do. No, no. A lot of times we know we need to get out of situations and it's just the comfortability. So, with that being said, healing
Yeah.
is not a comfortable place. It's not. Some days I just be like, I don't wanna do nothing. I don't feel like doing anything. Don't talk to me. I'm not recording. I don't even know if I wanna do this podcast anymore.
Yeah. No, I get the same way. I actually got that today. We're coming off a 3-day weekend for Labor Day, and today I was like, I've had a little bit of a cold, but, like, nothing, like, major, and so today I woke up with a migraine, and sometimes I know, like, migraines are brought on by me being anxious, so I ended up taking the day off because it's like, "You know what? I don't feel like going into work today. I need a day to myself." Now now they don't know that I did that way, but I figure they're not gonna listen to my podcast, so it doesn't matter.
If they listen to mine, I'm like, "You know what? This will make you listen to the ads."
So, from your experience, what are the biggest myths about healing from family trauma that you'd like to debunk?
Biggest myths about family trauma, that there isn't any, that there's no trauma, that, "Oh, that's just how it is. That's so and so. They've been like that forever." A lot of the dysfunction in our families is wrote off as being normal, and it's not. And when you get to a space where you are healing, you know that it's not normal and you're honest with yourself and with everybody around you. But then you're gonna be the outcast and then they ain't gonna like you. So be prepared for that as well. But I don't care. I like to sit by myself. That's where I get all my good thoughts, and I ain't got people talking nonsense. Myths is that it doesn't exist. I would have to say that's the biggest one, that it's normal, and it's just how it is. Like the generations before us, they bask in that. My mom, them, I hear some of the stuff they went through as kids. I'm like, "What? What happened? I thought we had it bad." And that's another thing, like, that's why I, like, give my mom grace because her childhood was crazy. She had a whack childhood, and I like to say that a lot of the things that we went through as kids, like her children was a result of her own childhood. But then I also have to like, well, if I was able to decide to make a change and not carry on the toxicity with my own children, then, she could have done the same. But, I try not to place blame and point fingers. It's just, the buck stops here.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah. Exactly. There's just those things you can't change. Right? It's
Right.
like kind of speaking off the placing blame. Every once in a while, like I'll think of like some negative trait that I've figured out within myself, and I'll turn it around to my wife and I'll be like, okay, well, now I have to figure out, did that come from my dad's side or my mom's side? Like, where did I get this from? Like, it's the same
And,
thing. Not that it matters anymore because,
uh, but I'm not gonna lie, I get angry sometimes when it comes to my parents. I'm just like, "Man, like, if you guys would have been, like" I don't wanna say better, 'cause I feel like at the end of the day, my mom did the best she could for the capacity of what she had. Do I feel like she coulda done better? Yes, but, like, I don't know. I try to cut her some slack, but I'm just like, "Oh my goodness," and then I have those days where I'm just like, "Oh, it's not your fault," but, like, I do have my days where I'm like, "Y'all jacked me up." And then y'all like, cause it's still a battle, like, with even trying to, like, break a lot of things for my children and not be this toxic parent. Like, I'll find myself yelling, I'm like, "Oh god, I just yelled at them," and then I'll have to
mm,
apologize, "I'm so sorry for yelling, I shouldn't have yelled." It's just you just have to be intentional, but you will.
mm,
You'll stumble, you'll fall, and you're gonna pick yourself up, and then the next time you're gonna do better. You're gonna stumble again because it is a healing process. That's why my podcast is not the healed version; it's the healing version because it is a ongoing process. You'll get triggered, you'll have something, and you'll be like, "Oh." You was intentional, you prayed about it, and you thought you got over it until that thing circled back around, you had to face it again, and now you triggered, and now I'm like, I didn't even get over it.
yeah,
I'm still triggered, like, I thought I conquered that thing, so it's a process.
yeah, yeah. It definitely is. And sometimes it just seems like never ending. It's like you get like two baby steps, and you're like, oh, I'm doing better now. I'm doing better. And then all of a sudden something happens that you is out of your control, and you're like, okay, I'm not doing so well anymore.
I'm not doing so well. I just wanna stay in the bed some days. It's like it's a process, but you can definitely if I can do it, you can do it if I can, 'cause yeah.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. It's like, you know what? Like, I never thought I'd come this far within a year compared to like where I was last year and like the different kind of therapy methods that I've used to whether it's controlling anger, anxiety, or depression. I guess, but then it's like just a lots of ups and downs. But and I can still tell you that the little things I have problems with, but in the end, like I like to tell my kids that, we're all human. We make mistakes. Mommy, daddy are human too. We're not always going to be perfect, but we're going to try to do our best for you.
Yes. Yep, and that's all we can do. That's it, and that's all.
So, what advice would you give parents who want to stop harmful cycles from continuing in their own families?
I would first of all, you would wanna make sure that you have a good space where, like, the children can be honest, because you may be doing something that you think is not harmful and that it's okay, "I've been doing this forever, and my mama did it, and her mama did it," and whole time it's a toxic thing and the kids don't like it and you probably shouldn't be doing it. So allow the kids to speak and listen, because a lot of times we'll let them speak, but then I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'm grown. I do what I want to do. No, it's okay. Just make sure that they know that it's a space of respect, but you want to also give that as well to them. Make them feel like, what they're saying is important. And then just taking an honest look at yourself, going back and searching it within your childhood. What are some things that happened and that you're carrying on that was a continuous cycle and just, excuse me, journaling. I love the journal. I love writing stuff down. I write everything down. I have a notebook right here. I just write. So, but I think the biggest thing is the relationship with the kids and just knowing like what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. And that's just going to come with communication.
Very, very well said. And it's like it's I'm trying to think of how to say it. I have the thought in my mind, but I think to our 5-year-old and how we're trying to get her to, because like she'll say whatever, but it's like just trying to get her to be as open as she possibly can sometimes is a difficult thing. How do you what advice do you give parents that are trying to get their child to feel like it's okay to speak? Maybe in the past they haven't been able to speak openly, but when they're trying to get to that point where their child feels comfortable and like it's a safe space, how do you think parents start to do that?
So it has to actually be a safe space. Um, so for me, I think it's my honesty and how transparent I am with them. It's like, this lady crazy. We get to, I'm just like with my older kids, like I've been talking to them, like my daughter, I have one daughter, and I've been talking to her about girl stuff and about boys since she was old enough to understand. As soon as she was old enough to understand, I just started talking to her and she was just, listening. But now she's 18, almost 19. And all of that stuff that I told her, I see it blossoming. It's there and it's so beautiful. And I just listen to her and I'm just like, oh, my little protege, I taught her so well. So a lot of times we don't think the kids are listening. They are. They're listening. The best thing you can do is just talk to them. Just create a space where it might just be you doing a lot of the talking, but they're listening. So even if they don't talk back now, it's okay. Just instill in them, give them the affirmations, tell them all the things you want them to know as they grow up listening. So that's what I do now. Now, this new generation of kids, they are giving it back quicker. I feel like my older kids, they start giving it back as teenagers. The 7-year olds, I tell them stuff like they were like, Mama, he not respecting my boundaries. Like, what do you mean he not respecting your boundaries? Well, he came over and he took my stuff. Like they listening to it. They are already talking about boundaries and the kids at school. And it's like, I pushed the boy at school and you got in trouble for pushing the boy. Why? Because I told him to get back and he was in my personal space. Like, it's a gift and a curse. I'm over here teaching them about their boundaries and personal space, and they going to school ready to fight because somebody standing too close. So they're listening. Just talk to them. They're little sponges. They're just soaking it all in.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way because I'm sometimes things come out of my mouth. I that I don't want my kids to hear. They're in the other room. I don't think they're like listening. And the next day they repeat it. I was like, and I always get called out on it, which my wife should call me out on it.
Yes.
Like I'm not saying no, just don't tell me anything about it. Like I don't want to hear it because I do. I want to. She's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't say this anymore. I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't.
And they are sponges. Yep. They'll soak it up and spit it out. They're listening. They are definitely listening.
That is for sure. Sometimes too much.
Yes, definitely. Especially little girls. They're so grown.
And so, with all your writing and some of the digging that I did for this interview, for this podcast, I see that you're writing a nonfiction book. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So it is basically on family dysfunction. Right now I'm doing a series on family dysfunction on my podcast, and I'm basically breaking down like all of the dysfunctional things from lack of communication to gossiping to lack of support. We'll be talking about funeral arrangements because I feel like that's something that a lot of families don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about life insurance. Well, we all got to go. So we need to make sure we have life insurance. And I'm talking about emptying the nest too soon. I feel like a lot of parents soon as the kids graduate high school, they pushing them out. So just highlighting a lot of the dysfunctional things that I've personally seen in my family. And the book is really dedicated to my family, both sides, mom's side and dad's side. It's a lot of toxic. I don't talk to this person. Don't even know why they don't talk to him. Just a whole bunch of nonsense. So I get really Oh, what's a good word for it? I'm very animated on my podcast. I don't hold back. I'm gonna say it. You're thinking it. I'm gonna say it. I was given this platform for a reason, and I'm sick of it. A lot of the dysfunction and the backbiting and the talking about people behind their backs. And so my novel is going to basically be an extension of that. It's going to be more of I'm giving the podcast is giving a snippet. The book is going to really go into details. I'm going to tell stories in the book about different things that I've witnessed. Child molestation. I feel like that's a big one that nobody wants to talk about how the uncles and the cousins and they touching on the kids and then they grow up and then they touching and then it's a generational cycle that needs to be broken.
And so, during this, like, how does writing allow you to process and share your story differently than podcasting? You feel like it's easier to write it out and tell those stories, or how does that work for you?
Yes, I feel like it's easier because, like, it's like everything I don't know, maybe they're, like, the same because as it's coming, I'm, like, writing it on the paper. Like, when I'm doing my podcast and I'm speaking on it, I'm saying it. I'm just like I said, I'm not holding back. I say whatever to that and if I offend somebody I had a family member call me, and they said, "You said this on your podcast. Was you talking about me?" I said, "Do you feel like I was talking about you?" "Yeah, well, I was. I was. If you feel like I'm talking about you, then I am." That's best thing I could tell you. I don't say names. I'm not messy with it, but I am gonna call out a lot of the things that I see that I don't like. So with writing, I think my writing is a little more funnier because I'm coming up with these definitions for stuff, like my own definition, like the way I would word it. So, I think the book is gonna be funny, but I think it's gonna ruffle some feathers, but I don't care.
Hey, it's going back to the whole honesty thing, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be me if I didn't be honest and hold people accountable and call people out on their mess. Like, stop it, please.
yeah, and it's like if you didn't want to be a story in my podcast, maybe you shouldn't have started that with me. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, get it together.
So, just a few more questions here for you. When people are seeking help, what are some barriers that you feel like they prevent people from seeking help, and what can we do to address them?
So I feel like a lot of times, people avoid getting help because of the environment. Because how many people have reached out for help and then they were either talked about or just constantly told no or just made to feel like they were being a burden. And so quite naturally, like what's a human reaction? Well, I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not gonna look for help, I'm not gonna ask for help, I'm gonna figure it out on my own, and a lot of times we can't figure things out on our own. It's not meant for us to figure out everything on our own. So I think the biggest barrier is just not having the support that you need to get the help that you need. And the way to get around that is to find people who support you, because I say this all the time on my podcast. My biggest supporters are not my family. I don't share the same blood as my biggest supporters. The people who support my podcast the most of them I haven't even met in real life. So you have to find your tribe and your people who support you. And that could be, we have the internet now. We have this wonderful thing
Hmm.
called the internet. So you can go and you can search and look for different groups, and you can go to my podcast webpage. I got some resources on there. You can reach out to me. I'll talk to you. I talk to people all the time. I'm trying to get this master's in counseling so I can get paid for what I do, because I talk to a lot of people. But you have the resources are there. If you need resources and you can't find them, reach out to me. I'll put you on the right avenue. But yeah. Just don't think that family is supposed to help you all the time. Sometimes family is your biggest haters and your biggest stumbling block, because a lot of times family wanna see you do good until you're right where they at or you're higher. Once you start going higher, it's like, "Oh, no, I can't support you. I'm not liking your post. I'm not doing this. I'm not coming to your this. I'm not supporting you." And support could just be free, but they'll stop doing it just because they don't wanna see you prosper. So go outside and find your support.
Yeah, very well said. And sometimes, like with my family, I feel it's more that the some of the mental health aspect of stuff isn't talked about. Like, or I don't know if like certain people just don't. I don't know if it's there with certain people and they just don't talk about it, or if just
Mhm,
nobody really feels anything.
mhm. Yeah, I think a lot of times, like, people are so ashamed of, like, the things that they are dabbling in or that they've been through, that they're just like, "No, I don't wanna talk about that." Like, we're not talking, because I have people in my family that's like, "I can't listen to your podcast." I'm like, "That's okay." Like, when it's your time, you'll listen. I don't push anybody. I do tell people, if you don't wanna listen, can you push play and turn it down so I can just get the
So you
listen?
can give it a listen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I need to start doing that. It's like when it comes to podcasting, you don't. It's like no, you don't understand that one listen actually does really good things for me.
Yes, yes, thank you.
And what would you say when it comes to uh, writing or podcasting? What has been like the most challenging part of it for you, like is during this healing process?
The most challenging, I would have to say, is the scheduling, when to record, especially right now in this very moment. I go to school full time. I have a full-time job and I have a part-time job. I'm a mom of 5. So my ultimate goal is to do podcasting full time until I get my degree in counseling, and then I'll do podcasting part-time. But I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's just a matter of finding the time to record and then edit, and so that's the I would say that is the only challenge. Having something to talk about, being able to talk, being able to get in front of the camera is all easy peasy. It's just really been a scheduling thing for me.
Yeah, that's and you. I thought I was busy. Jeez. Well, that's
Yes.
crazy. And you feel like when you talk or journal or write on your book, write your book, does it feel more therapeutic to you, or does that process kind of hurt to get out there to the world, or those stories, I should say, not the process. Do the stories hurt to get out there to the world?
I feel like it's more therapeutic. Writing to me is just therapeutic anyway. Crying is therapeutic. If I cry and then write, oh, we got a masterpiece. So yeah, I mean the stories are there. They are my stories to tell. So um I don't have any problem getting them out to the world. Can't wait to get them out to the world and everybody read it, especially my family. I hope they read it.
And looking back to your younger self, maybe it's a time when your mom was moving you around a lot or something like that. What would you say to your younger self, like knowing what you know now?
I would say everything is going to be okay and be patient and have grace with yourself.
Yeah, it's very,
We
very
don't
well
give
said.
ourselves enough grace. Especially, I feel like during, like, the healing process, it's like, "No, I went through this, and I did this, and I did the work," and you fall and you trip, and it's like, "Oh, man, I've stumbled again, I got triggered again." It's like, "No, have grace, it's okay, it's supposed to happen, it happened for a reason." When you get to the point and it don't trigger you, you probably won't even see it, like, whatever it is will be invisible at that point.
I've had a huge problem with that, showing myself the grace because it's like, you know what? You've gone through this, you've learned different ways to get over it. I actually had to go back to, like, I hadn't been to my therapist for some time until like last month. And I was like, you know what? I fell into a rut. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I know have all these methods that you taught me. He's like, well, you're doing well. You just need to know that like it's a work in progress and you can show yourself grace. You can give yourself a pat on the back and say, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, I'll get over this. I'll get through this.
Yes. Yes, that's so important, but it's so easy to forget too, especially when you're in the mood
Hmm.
and going through whatever it is you're going through. It's like so easy to just throw all of that out. Like, I don't, Grace, I don't care. I don't like, this is happening now. So I try to remind myself to like just stop, pause, and I'll just like put my hand up, like, it's gonna be okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. Everything's okay. I talk to my inner child a lot. I talk to her, "It's gonna be okay. We're safe now." Yeah,
I do kind of the
and
same
I had
thing.
a no, I was gonna say I had an interview, probably about a month ago, um, and the lady said something to me that, like, it's just been sticking with me. She's like, "When you're making decisions," I think we were talking about, like, dating. She was like, "If you meet a man and you're dating or whatever," she's like, "Always think of your inner child being right next to you and you're holding her hand. Would you be pleased with introducing her to this person or having her around the person?" And I'm like, "Shoot, forget just dating. Would I be okay with doing whatever around her, introducing her to whoever, having her around certain family members?" Like, no, you don't deserve her. So I don't know. I feel like somebody needed that.
Yeah. It's I love all this. I guess one of my favorite things about doing this is, all these stories and all these like I like to call them free therapy sessions for myself.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I've cried in some interviews. I'm like, "How I'm supposed to be
When
interviewed?
it's
You got me crying." But I interview a lot of therapists and relationship coaches and life coaches and a lot of so I'm like,
oh yeah. Yeah, and
"Yes."
and I'm actually very sensitive, like overall. And I
Mhm.
remember this lady on here told me her story and it's like I think a lot of stories are very hard to sit through, but this one in particular for some reason like really got to me. And so like I tried to ask a question and I'm like the tears are starting to come. She's like, "Oh, you don't have to get, like it is what it is. Like I'm over it." And so I'm like trying to get my
Yeah.
composure so I could continue on the conversation. And it's not always the easiest thing because it's like, well, I thought like with certain things in my life, I had it rough, but my story doesn't like, I didn't go through any of the same crap you went through, but then I always get brought back to like, you know what? Don't compare your story to others because yours is just as important.
Yes, yes, that's good, that's good. 'Cause I do that a lot. I'm like, "Yeah, my story ain't got
Yeah,
nothing on." Like,
I do that
I
all the
ain't been in
time.
no foster care, ain't nobody beat me when I was a kid."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but I had the traumas, I was
Hmm.
affected by, those certain things. Definitely no comparing the stories.
This is a generalized question that I ask every guest that comes on the show. What would you say is the biggest stigma when it comes to mental health?
I feel like that there's like it's kind of like a trendy thing now. It's like, oh, mental health. And the fact that people don't know like mental health and mental illness. It's like everything's not mental health. Some of this is mental illness.
Bless you.
But yeah, I think a lot of people are throwing a lot of things around about mental health that may not be true, or they just want to be part of the conversation. It's like this is a real thing. People are actually affected. There's real life things that's happening. Yeah.
Love it. I've never received there's been some variations of the same thing, but like everybody has their own opinion of it, and I love all of them. It's like interesting to hear the different opinions of what that is. So, where can people find you?
So my website just dropped in July. It is thehealingversion.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. I have YouTube, and the Healing Version podcast is on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, you name it, you can find it. But if you go to the website, thehealingversion.com, you can find the links to everything.
And I will be putting those links in my show notes as well when I release. Um, the last question here, we covered a lot of topics in this episode. Is there anything that you'd like to bring up that we did not discuss?
No, I think we discussed everything. I'll just leave the people with this. Have grace, have grace, have grace. And just remember that your healing journey is not the next person. So don't let anybody tell you what you should be doing. There's no book, there's no manual to tell you, okay, on day 3, this is what you should be doing on your healing version. I mean, your healing journey. Your healing journey is your own individual journey. It's not like anybody else's, it is yours. And just, I can't stress this enough. Don't let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing during your healing.
Said, and it's like I want to say, like, if you have somebody that's telling you how you should be on your healing journey, like I don't think you should be talking to that person about healing. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
different for everybody.
But a lot of people are out here selling healing. So that's another reason I'm stressing that, because a lot of people are selling manuals or they have
Mhm.
courses. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm like, I'm just on here telling you what I'm going through. And maybe you are too, and maybe you can relate, and maybe you want to come tell me, want to talk about it. I don't have any courses or anything to sell you to get you healed by the 30th of this month. Like I don't have that. I have some real life transparency and some honest things for you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And thank you to listening. Thank you all for listening to Overcome a Mental Health podcast. If you found this episode interesting, please look us up on all major podcast platforms and give us a review. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.